Daniel, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, and welcome everybody. This is going to be the first interview of the COVID STEM Educator interview series. And I've got Dr. Daniel Eldridge here with me. Daniel is the course director of the Bachelor of Science, and he's a unit convener of two fairly large first year chemistry units. And he's also teaching a final year unit as well. So first of all, Daniel, how are you coping with ISO?
Look, it's interesting. A lot more time with the cats. They love working from my lap. The kids and the whole teaching at home while working is proving challenging as well. Work's keeping me busy. It's okay.
But you've got a smile on your face, so you must be enjoying it, Daniel.
Either that or delirium, yeah, one of the two. Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'd start off with just asking you a little bit about the units that you're teaching. So
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit about the units that you're teaching?
All right, so the three units I'm convening this semester, I've got a couple of first year chemistry subjects, some for students who come in here with a considerable bit of chemistry behind them, and another large unit for students with no prior chemistry experience, and they then go on from that into a whole host of different subjects, other sciences or even health and nutrition, biomedical science. And the other unit I'm teaching is a final year chemistry unit that I convene, surface and colloid chemistry. And that's predominantly taken by people specialising in chemistry majors.
Great. Now, I want to focus on one of your first year chemistry units.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on the introductory to chemistry. So this is Chem 10004.
Yes.
What about, you've got over 100 students in that. In fact, you've got 136 students.
Yeah.
And you had a 53% response rate in the check-in survey, which is pretty good, right?
They must have felt like they had a lot to say, yes.
And in two of the, there was a number of items that we asked students, and in two of the items, you scored quite well. One of the items was around the communication that you provide to students, and that scored, above 8 on the 10-point Likert scale. And the other item was around the online learning resources that you provide your students, and that also scored above 8. And you got some fantastic student comments, things like, this unit was the best transition out of all the units that students had experienced, that you're really passionate both on campus and online. That really shines through. That you're really engaging and students love your humour, that your classes are very well structured, resources are great. So, great comments, comments that every academic wants to hear when...
I pay them well, yeah.
You pay them well. So obviously you must be doing something. And I thought the first thing I would like to focus on is your communication. So what are you and your team doing to get such high scores in the communication side of things?
I don't know if it's anything like too out of the box. To me, the biggest one I think is just making sure we're a presence there for them at all times. There are, I guess, three major ways we've been communicating with them. The first one, of course, would be announcements. So I'm sure everyone's doing that. And just trying with the announcements to be extra clear and structured in those. I think particularly when this change first came through and students are a bit worried, I know my immediate thought was, all right, let's just set this out bit by bit so students know, right, what's happening instead of your lectures, what's happening instead of your tutorials, and just talking about what we're doing to replace each section, what's required of them, and then where they can find the resources that are there to help them. Along with that, we've had the discussion boards running. Now, they were running before our COVID-19 issue, and that's always been a great way for students to ask questions of one another, and we get involved and answer questions with them as well. The other thing I do every semester, which I've always done for a bit of fun, is I've had a discussion set up, which is the lighter side of chemistry. And in particular, I've got them looking for good chemistry jokes, which I'm convinced thoroughly, they don't exist. But just having that more social, humanizing part of it has been a good way to stay in touch with them as well and try and keep it a bit lighter in these darker times. I still don't have a good one. We're still relying on the classics like, never trust an atom, they make up everything. And
I like that one. So that sounds, a couple of good things there that you mentioned about the comms, really cleared sort of instructions in terms of announcements. So you're managing students' expectations, they know what to expect. You're pretty responsive to the discussions, but they're free to put up what they like.
Yeah.
And you've got a good team that, gets back to the students pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really good. So the next part I wanted to ask you about is your learning resources. Students talked about they really liked your 8 to 10 minute videos. You got, a lot of clarity in your examples, clear guides, your weekly quizzes. So you're obviously keeping them on your toes and getting them engaged. Tell me a little bit more about your learning resources.
Yeah, look, I do try and use a variety of different resources, so students have got a few different ways of getting in touch with the content. Now, I'm lucky that there are some that we've been working towards for a while, so we've got little video tutorials and things available to help with them, problem solving, quizzes to help make sure they're getting just the little things right along the way. But in terms of, again, COVID-19 and the big changes, lectures was the sort of problem that I think just about everyone has faced and had to find another way around. I didn't... what I've done isn't entirely out of the box. I think there's a lot of people who've looked at creating video lectures for them, and I took up the approach of the short 8 to 10 minute videos where possible. I know from talking to students in the past that trying to watch a 2-hour lecture in one go can feel like 6 or 8 hours. Yeah. So trying to really just split it into short digestible pieces was the way I decided to approach it. And then posting those mini lectures, usually around somewhere between 6 and 10 a week for each given topic. Mm-hmm. And then after those, I've been using H5P, which is a new online tool that some people are beginning to dabble with, to post just a couple of little quick spot checking questions after each video to make sure they've got the key couple of ideas coming out of each of those. It's not meant to be all of their study. It's just meant to make sure they're connected with it and are catching those key themes as we step along through those mini lectures.
And let's finish this on one final question. What would be your sort of, key tips that you would give a new academic to try and improve their sort of student ratings, but also help them, get their sort of unit in order for online delivery?
Look, I think every subject has its own sort of niche and specific needs. So I'd be mad to try and tell people exactly what their unit needs overall. I just, in terms of just the general things, I think just making sure, particularly in the current environment, just making sure we are a constant presence that's there and available to help them, either through discussion boards or email, and just making sure that when we do want to reach out and communicate, we've got nice, clear guidance telling them, right, this is what you need to be aware of. This is how you need to access what's next. And then after that, again, I think conveners, we know what we want our students to do. We've just got to make it nice and clear and accessible for them to be able to do it. I think that's the best we can hope for.
Sounds good to me. Daniel, thanks so much for sharing your Friday afternoon with me. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, Angela. See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye.